Hello, Stephanie.
Hello, Mona.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too.
Yeah, so today I have the honor to talk to you for the first part of our 3 sessions for and all around knowledge management and radical KM and how to implement these into the organizations. So today we start with all around knowledge management, what it is, why it is, and what to do with it. And who, when not you, is able to tell us and give us deep insights into knowledge management. But first of all, can you please explain why are you the expert?
Because I've been doing it for 25 years.
Wow.
So one of many experts around. There's lots of knowledge management experts around, but yeah, I have been doing it for more than 25 years. So with lots of organizations, I started out at Hewlett Packard and did it there for 4 years, and then since I've been self-employed, I've worked with large organizations and small organizations and local organizations and global organizations. Yeah, all kinds of industries. So lots of experience in cross-pollination.
So, and this is also your background. You worked a lot in knowledge management. You have studied. You have a lot of studies done in that topic and all around that topic, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I've written a couple of books, co-authored one book, and wrote a book on my own. That was a long time ago, 2011. That one came out. It's not actually in print anymore. And then have written articles on gamification and knowledge management, and then my Radical KM stuff. I've actually had 5 papers published in Radical KM. So yeah, and then other stuff published too. I've been writing stuff for a long time. I have a column on Reworked that I write occasionally. Once every couple of months, I get something published there. So yeah, I'm all over the place.
You are all over the place, and what I saw the last month, you are also a well-known and famous speaker on these topics.
I am. I decided to break the working from home barrier, and I've been out speaking in Scotland and Ireland and Germany, and yeah, speaking in Hungary later on this year. So yeah, getting around North Europe at least. No trips to North America planned at this point, but definitely getting. Europe's what's important, right? Less jet lag if I stay here.
Yeah, but this is one point. You live in Berlin, but you're original Canadian. And for how long do you stay now in Berlin? Is it 7 years?
It'll be 9 years in October.
Whoa.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
So
great. So let's start. What is it all about? Knowledge management. Start with the basics, perhaps.
Knowledge management has about as many definitions as there are people doing it. And when I started out at HP, I used to say knowledge management is about connecting people to the knowledge that they need to do their jobs. And I still believe that. It's gotten more complex, I would say. So it still is about that, but it's about the tools, the processes, the activities that help enable and engage people to share knowledge and to document knowledge. And so the documented knowledge is really information. And then the stuff that stays in people's heads stays in people's heads. And so it's about the processes and activities around getting them to share and connect with each other and build trust, so that they'll mentor or they'll coach other people, either in communities of practice or through mentoring and coaching programs, or whatever sort of person to person, not necessarily face to face, because you can do it like this, but
virtually.
but yes, virtually. So, but that personal contact rather than just picking up a document or writing a document. So there's all facets of it. So
yeah. So this is the base for knowledge management. Why is it then so important for organizations?
this is the part that I don't understand. I mean, I understand why it's important, but I don't understand why other people don't understand why it's important.
Okay.
So we're in this. Everything is not about knowledge and information now. It's about how to use AI. It's about how to use the technology. It's about how to use your laptop, how to use your phone, what apps, how to do something. It's not about things anymore. It's about how do you do something. And so this is knowledge. This is learning. We can't have it all, packed in our heads and know everything. So this is what knowledge management is about, is helping people share what they know, helping them to connect to the people that need to know what they might know about a topic or subject or an experience that they've had. And so, yeah, that this question, after, like I say, I've been working in this for 25 years. After 25 years, why we're still getting this question of trying to justify why knowledge management's important. It's important because it's how we do our jobs. It's how our organizations exist. If you think about an organization without knowledge, they're not going to last for very long, right? I think the problem is that people don't get educated in knowledge management. It's not part of it. It's not part of the base curriculum. It just sort of magically happens somehow. And it's not really, unless you go to library sciences, information studies program, that you might learn at least a part of what knowledge management is. Or if you do IT, you might learn part of what knowledge management is. But there are some master's programs, some PhD programs around now, but there weren't certainly 25 years ago when I started.
Yes.
And it's not part of business schools. Well, again, there are exceptions to that rule, but it still is not a common part of the curriculum, how to manage knowledge, how to measure it, how to get the return on investment. It's just not, and I don't know why after this long that it's not a part of the
I can tell you why. It's the same with project management. Everybody doing projects, everybody is dealing with knowledge and sharing knowledge. And I remember the times in organizations when they had these SharePoints and things coming up, and then, you can deal with it. So it works like this. Look into it and then do it. It's the same with project management as well. So you work on a project, do it.
Yeah, just do it. Yeah, somehow you're supposed to know how. That's funny that you say that about or about project management, because when I did my MBA a long time ago, they didn't offer. I had done an internship at Hewlett Packard between first and second years of the MBA, and my manager said to me at the end of the internship, it would be really good if you could do a project management course, in second year. And so I went back and started the second year of the MBA, and I said to my professors, it would be really good. Or is there a project management course? They weren't planning on offering one until the following year. Like, but HP wants me to have it by the time I graduate. And so I collected up surveys. This is, don't tell me I can't do something, because I'll find a way to do it. So I collected I created a survey. I got people to sign it. I stood up in all the classes that I was in and said, what I was doing. And so we managed to get enough names and got the course offered in January, so that I had it when I graduated. So this is, it was important.
Do it.
Just do it. Don't make up reasons why you can't. Just do it.
So we have a note from Linda. Linda just let us know. So in her experience, organizations recognize the value of good project management more than knowledge management.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I would agree with that. You
Yeah.
think about all the people that go and get the PMP designation,
That's
and
right.
KM doesn't have that. KM doesn't have a
No.
standardized body of knowledge. No, it doesn't. They have, there's a standard that came out, an ISO standard that came out. That's about the only thing, and that was in 2018 that came out. But there's no, like, there's the PM BOK, there's no KM BOK.
Oh, I'm sorry for that. Because there is a lot to know about
There is
it.
a lot to know. It's a very complex body of knowledge.
Right.
There's a lot of
So
stuff.
we are now focusing a little bit on technology. Why do we overemphasize the technology aspect in knowledge management? Is it because of SharePoint issues and these and that?
The focus on technology came along long before SharePoint, but although SharePoint's been around for a long time, but I think the technology is something that's more tangible for people to grab on to. You know, they have their phones, they have their phones, their laptops. You know, it's something that sits in front of them, and writing stuff down on a piece of paper, or creating a document or slide deck or whatever. Like, that's more relatable somehow for people. So, and then that goes in the technology, because you want everyone to be able to find it. The more intangible parts are actually more important, I would suggest, because it's stuff that can't be written down. So that stuff that's in my head, the only way to find out is for me to have a conversation with you, or maybe work with you on a project together, so that I can mentor and coach you, and I can, transfer my knowledge that way. And so that's really hard for people to grasp. And there's also the feeling that, well, you should just do that anyway, except that it doesn't happen, because people don't trust each other. They don't know each other. I will share, there's a research study that came out ages ago that talks about, people will share with people they know and they trust, but once they get outside of that circle, it doesn't get shared. So this is why culture comes into play, and and all of those things, to create a wider circle of trust. And this is, visioning and values of organizations, so that you can trust that, even though if I don't know that person, we're all part of the same organization. We all have signed up for these values. And so it's okay if I put the document on SharePoint or on whatever, platform, and use it, and can trust that it will be used the way that I intended it to be used.
Yeah. So there is a need for tools, right? And technology as well, because of the sharing aspect. I used it very often and placed wikis, so for the people in the first instance. So this is something really helpful, and to get used to it for the people, to share it, because it's not that common at the moment.
Yeah.
Although it's in there for years, but it's not very common. So, but there is a need for, and there's also a need for strategy.
Absolutely. Technology is just one of the legs on the stool. You need people, process, technology. You need a strategy to tie it all together, governance to tie it all together. Yeah.
Absolutely. So how do they develop a plan that everything works together? How's this done? Who does it?
Hopefully the CIO, or not CIO, CKO, if there's a chief knowledge officer, or whoever the highest level knowledge management manager is. That's different in every organization, where it fits in, where KM is housed. But
this is another point we are coming to.
I know what add. But it's the knowledge management program leader, who should be putting together the strategy, looking across the organization for and understanding what's needed, what what tools exist, what technology exists, what processes exist and don't exist, what would help people be able to do their jobs better, what skills are missing. They should be working with learning and development and HR and IT and marketing and sales and understanding where the gaps are and how they can use knowledge and knowledge sharing to meet the needs of the organization better. It's about productivity and innovation and all kinds of things.
Yeah, but this also means that there is a need for special people.
And knowledge management people are definitely special people.
Yeah, it's not because it's, oh, this is an HR part, they should care about it, or this is an IT part, they should care about it. It's everything is in there. Yeah.
That's it. And that's why I say knowledge management people are special people, is because we understand the complexity and we have the ability to work across functionals, across silos. We don't just say, oh, well, I'm in HR, I'm only going to talk to HR. No. HR is only one piece of the puzzle. There's a million more pieces. And so knowledge management people, I think, are more comfortable dealing with, I'm going to say, the chaos rather than the complexity, because I think there is a lot of chaos. That's why I call myself chief chaos organizer. It's at that edge between complexity and chaos, and walking that line and recognizing what can be organized and can go into a system or a process and what needs to just be left and let to emerge. So yeah, those are very special people that can balance and walk that line.
We have just got some comments, and that says in their conversations with governments, for example, and large companies, particularly in the Middle East, they have observed a growing awareness that quality knowledge, both explicit and tacit, when properly codified, can be a direct driver for AI and LMS. Yes, it is. Without it, the adage, garbage in, garbage, yes, holds true more now than ever. That's absolutely right.
Yeah, absolutely. And that was a big theme throughout a lot of the presentations and talks at the KM conference I was just at in Dublin in June. Was the importance of knowledge management and good knowledge management, so that it is, not garbage in, garbage out. So that having a good KM process allows you to put in good, useful knowledge into the AI so that you're getting good stuff out and not garbage, because there is an awful lot of garbage in, garbage out.
Yeah, we have just received another comment from Zhao. She, I don't know, knowledge bases are like the brain and the nervous system, and need to be well cultivated and connected among business units. Absolutely, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Knowledge is human, for sure. So there's a lot of things that go into the care and feeding of a human, and there's a lot of things that go into the care and feeding of a good knowledge management program.
Absolutely. So, and hearing this, and from all the people around, and from you, where and why is it so difficult for organizations where they establish knowledge management? Because somehow they do not know where it belongs to. Is it in IT? Is it in, I don't know, HR or learning and development?
Yeah, it's hard because, as I was saying a minute ago, it goes across all these functions, and we're so used to and trained to put everything in the box. And yet this is something that goes, if you're going to be successful with it, goes across all the boxes.
Yes.
And so in just about every organization I've worked with, it does sit in one of those boxes, to its detriment, honestly. What I like is when I see it sitting in the chief of staff's office. There's some organizations starting more and more to have a chief of staff, which does go across. It typically reports into the CEO, and it does go across. It's more strategic, and it's about one of the things often is about giving people the knowledge, what they need to do their jobs. And one of those things is knowledge management. And so that's actually a place that I like it when I see it there, but that's not very often that I see it there. More often, because of the technology component that everybody's so comfortable with, it often sits in IT. Sometimes it sits in operations, but I've seen it sitting in sales and marketing and HR, and once in a while learning and development. It sits all over the place. It depends on the organization and who started it and who champions it and all of those kinds of things.
Yeah, but as you said, for me, it's like this. I like to compare it also with project management, because project management is also strategic, and knowledge management for me is strategic thinking, and it should be ranked very high in an organization, and the CEO, CTO, or whatever should know and rank it very high.
Yeah, I agree. They're both critical to the operations of the organization. So yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I've been doing this for 25 years. I thought by now I might have seen a shift in where KM sits, but so far not so good.
But because it's all over the organization, it's on the baseline, it touches everything. So what is needed there, in my opinion, is a very good communication, an open communication. You need to be very open, because you have to communicate to everyone, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Everyone's involved. Everyone has a role to play. So, and you're right, it's strategic. It should be across, and everyone playing their role, not pushed off in some corner under some silo. And this is how organizations can mature their KM, is really to bring it out and make it more visible, and make sure that communication is happening across the organization, and breaking down the silos, and making sure that knowledge is flowing where it needs to flow, and not running into walls and things where it gets held back from where it needs to go.
Yeah. So I just received some comments as well, because Jao just said knowledge is actually data, and data is structured by process and managed by IT systems. So said, I guess you want to say it needs to relate and sit in IT.
No, that's only part of what knowledge management is data. It's so much bigger than that. So yeah, no, I'm going to disagree. So, and that doesn't consider things like innovation and knowledge creation, which is part of the knowledge life cycle. Knowledge creation is part of the knowledge life cycle. Mm-hmm. That belongs everywhere, in project management, in operations, in sales, in everywhere. They're creating knowledge everywhere. They're innovating processes, they're innovating product everywhere. And so that knowledge creation process needs to be, part of that.
Agree, absolutely agree. And Gloria just let us know that in her work, the unit is dedicated to learning, knowledge management, and strategic communication. Yeah. And the director has a direct line to the chief of party country director.
Okay.
This is great.
Yes, sounds good.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Yeah. But when we come to where do you think knowledge management will go to? How will it improve? What can you improve in knowledge management for the future? What will be your suggestion for this?
Do we have another half an hour?
No, a second round.
I I think I would really like to see more focus on that, on the knowledge creation. Knowledge management has focused a lot on that, on knowledge capture and
Mhm.
on knowledge sharing, but not so much on knowledge creation. And yet knowledge creation is the beginning of the knowledge life cycle, like I said. So it's the life cycle goes from creation to forgetting, deleting, archiving, and it's got a whole bunch of stuff in between. And that, I think this is how organizations can mature their KM activities, is looking more broadly at the whole life cycle, not getting caught up in that end part,
Yeah.
and really focusing on the knowledge creation, looking at innovation, looking at the culture that goes across that whole cycle. So yeah, this is what we're going to talk about next week.
Yeah, I think so, because data is one part, but there are people behind the data who are working with the data, and I think this is a big thing to work with.
Yeah, but it's only a small part of what knowledge is. Is
Yes.
that data, and the same with what gets put into AI. It's a small part of what the whole knowledge pie is, the whole pool of knowledge. AI is just this little tiny bit, because it's just what's documented and what's been fed into the
Yes.
tool. So not everything's in there. It's not possible. So yeah, knowledge is so much bigger.
Knowledge is indeed very big, and but when I hear this, so because you talked about knowledge creation will be something coming up for later, and should come up for later, because I think what is, you gain and store data, but how to work with it, what to do with it. It's big data, and you can, and not many organizations use it correctly.
This is just, and this will be part of what we talk about next week, is the ideas of what do we do with this data,
Yes.
and what data are we missing, and yeah, all those innovation things,
Yeah.
so yeah.
This is something really great. What's coming next? So the next steps for so I'm really curious about this, because I have things in my mind.
Hold that thought for next week.
Yes. Is there anything else? So when practical insights, expert tips, how to use it, how to do it from your side. So what do you tell people when you go on stage or something like that, for knowledge management, when they are in knowledge management? What do they should look for when they work with it?
I don't know. I'm trying to think of a sound bite, and I don't have a sound bite for you. As you started to phrase that question, I thought, what do I tell people? I tell people knowledge management is ultimately about learning, and we learn better when we have fun, and so I put my clown nose on to remind people to have fun. And some people don't like the clown nose, because it's not serious. But and knowledge management is certainly serious, but it is about learning, and it is about getting people to trust each other and collaborate and share knowledge. And so having fun, breaking down the barriers and creating that culture is key, and so the clown nose is just a reminder to have a bit of fun, that we share knowledge better, and we learn better when we're a little bit more relaxed and not completely stressed out. So yeah, this is,
Yeah.
if that's a closing thought, I'll leave it.
Yes, it is. And I think the last comment we got is in that direction. So they say it goes much far to say knowledge management or organizational learning is not merely data collection. So data consists of raw facts and figures, and KM involves the contextualization, interpretation, and application of this information. to create actionable insights and faster organizational learning and innovation. Codifying that knowledge is a skill set. Otherwise, everyone just uses an LMN like ChatGPT, the word soup predict, a best practice or lessons learned, which can have us a lot. Yeah, I think it's well said.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah. So everyone is now curious. Part 2 next week, Monday, same time.
Same time.
Yeah, 5 p.m. European time zone. Yep. And we hope to have a lot of people for Radical KM. What's in it? Thank you, Stephanie. Have a great start this week.
Thank you. You too.